oftentimes we hear, everyone that you all are grown men and all that stuff. But does it change at all this year, with you as a captain, as far as, certainly not babysitting guys, but, sending the message, about when you're away from the facility, being responsible, following the rules just because so much is at stake if guys don't do that?
I think the coaches are emphasizing it, but at the end of the day, these are grown men and these are pros. If they're going to trick it off, they'll get quarantined, they'll get replaced. It'll be unfortunate. That's why we have testing every day, so they can catch it quick. But I think on a team like ours, and we're uniquely constructed to deal with this because obviously we're in Santa Clara. There's not a huge nightlife. It's not like we're in Atlanta or Texas or Miami or Las Vegas or LA, where there's a lot of distractions, a lot of places you can go, a lot of things you can do to get yourself in trouble. I think our team is incredibly focused because of how close we were to winning the Super Bowl last year, and how that taste in their mouths is a bit of discipline in itself. That hunger, that angst is discipline in itself. So I think our team is incredibly committed and driven towards that goal, and I think that in itself will be discipline enough. Obviously we'll have the conversations, but those aren't things that are in anyone's control, but the guys being disciplined.
Back on the coronavirus and the COVID concerns, did you talk to your wife Ashley for a long time about whether you would play this year, and did you consider opting out? How did the family discussion go?
No, that was never really a conversation, honestly. The more of the conversation was whether her and the kids would come and how the school situations and all that would go. Obviously, I have my home in Seattle where we stay majority of the time, but outside of that, I think that was the only concern. And obviously the safety of my kids and my family is at the highest for me. And that's the dynamic that we need to figure out. And we've figured it out. They've stayed back, and we're adjusting in that regard.
You mentioned the word elevate. Can you just talk about the ownership in the locker room on both sides of the ball? Just about how both players, or how all the players, are just taking ownership on getting better?
Yeah, I mean, there's just an accountability, and there's a brotherhood aspect of this team, and it's something that's never talked about enough. There's a chemistry, and there's a want to, that they're getting better and wanting to elevate is something that's inside of you, or it's not. And some guys, play this game and say, hey, I just want to make a lot of money. I don't care about winning. I don't care about this. And that, on a winning team, you can't have a lot of those players because you won't ever be successful. We have a lot of unselfish guys who just want to do whatever it takes to help this team win. And that's on both sides of the ball, from Jimmy down to the last practice squad guy. And on defense, it's the same way. We have a lot of unselfish guys and a lot of guys with similar mental makeup. And the guys that they brought in, Trent being one of them, are built the same way. A lot of the rookies that they brought in are built the same way. And when you got a lot of guys like that, it makes you a hard team to beat because everybody is willing to do whatever it takes to win. It's not, hey, I'm not willing to do this because it's not good for me. I'm willing to do whatever it takes because it's good for us. So if that means a receiver blocking, if that means a quarterback freaking shoot, I saw Jimmy pancake somebody last year. It's guys that are willing to go to places other places people aren't willing to go to win the ball game.
You mentioned being tested about 8 times at this point. Can you talk a little bit about the testing experience and what that's been like? And is at this point, is it just kind of old hat because it's happened so many times?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's the mid-nasal swab. They're going in, they're, spinning it around one nostril, spinning it around the other nostril. It kind of tickles. And then you go on about your day. Obviously, they have the contact tracing throughout the building to make sure, if there is an outbreak, if there is a positive test, it's able to be traced and contained. But honestly, it takes about 2 minutes, and it's been it's part of your routine at this point.
Hey, sure. I'm Kiana here. As a veteran, I want to know what's been your take on no preseason games. How does it affect a guy like you going into your 10th season compared to maybe some of these French guys?
Honestly, I'm not sure it'll affect me much at all. I wasn't going to plan on playing much in the preseason, but it is unfortunate for the guys competing for a job, competing for a starting spot and things like that, because you don't get a chance to put it on actual tape. practice tape and practice reps and doing it right in practice only goes so far. You only get so much credit for that. Guys get a lot more, get a lot more credit and a lot more experience and a lot more, I guess, motivated in game reps. Coaches can see it and say, hey, that wasn't just, hey, we showed this rep 1,000 times and he got it right in practice. That was, hey, he hasn't seen this team do it. He had to go through a different read. This is a different receiver he's going against. This is a different technique, and he still made the play. So I think it's going to be one of those years where it's tough for guys like that to make the team, and that's the part that really sucks, because there's been some fantastic fringe guys that have made this league and has made this league what it is and made it great. And hopefully, some of those guys will still get an opportunity, but I know it'll make it more difficult.